Hi, I'm Anna Olsen. Welcome to my show, Insights into Consciousness, here on A1R Radio. I'm here every week, Thursdays, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Now, today, September 10th, I'm going to do a show on just controlling what we can. Just controlling what we can is good enough, and we're just going to leave it at that, okay? So we've been entering a new consciousness where basically we have a lot of our regular control disrupted, and we're not really sure basically, how to handle that. So a lot of my readings that I've done lately have been on people that are really struggling with the feeling of the loss of control. And this is everything from, the pandemic with COVID and having to wear masks and people saying, oh, I don't want to wear a mask, and I do. And part of that is just a lot of denial going on with people subconsciously, so they don't really have to deal with the issue head on. A lot of it is people's true colors coming out when they're under pressure. There's also been riots, politics, just all sorts of things happening. And these different issues have been pushing people to the brink to where their true colors come out, their true character comes out. You really get to know who people are, and you really get to know how many good people there actually are in the world. That's a good thing. But on the other hand, we're also seeing a lot of the bad. And I don't know about you, but when I go out, most people, I'd say 98 to 99% of people are handling everything really well. They are being respectful of other people. They are doing their best to be a good, kind human. And, that's what really gives me hope right now, because we are entering into a consciousness where we are progressing psychically very quickly. And this is because we're being forced out of our comfort zone, and our senses have been heightened because the human body, we all have the 12 senses, which is more than just our 5. And even though they don't teach about those in school, they're still there. So when something like this happens, where we are all put into a position of not exactly knowing what's next, and our comfort zone is really thrown off, we have to start to psychically tune in again. And I don't know about you, but myself, I'm usually the one to try to be prepared. And when I'm prepared for something, I feel more comfortable. I have less anxiety. I feel like I know what my next step is more of the time. And of course, I'm a reader. So that's like basically how I operate and how I really help other people in general. However, it's really interesting to me lately how all the things that people thought weren't possible are happening. So one of the visuals that I use for this, basically just to give you a synapse, is Star Trek. So a lot of the things that we are now experiencing in our world were already on a show years and years ago. Even our iPhones, like the screens and talking to people, we're doing, even Zoom meetings now. And what's interesting to me, I don't know about you, but to me, it's very interesting how lots of the things that we thought were impossible on a show like Star Trek is actually happening. Now, I don't know if you remember the alien. She's kind of a counselor, and she is very psychically inclined, but she's basically one of the characters that gets overlooked a lot of the time when people joke around and compare our lives to Star Trek. So what's really fun is we can now kind of stop and think about how we're all becoming more psychic, or depending upon our psychics, our intuitives, to really guide us through this hard time. So if you think of it as kind of like we're moving into this other dimension of consciousness where we all have to start thinking more with our instincts and less with our logic, and just really get in there, dig in. And, a lot of women in the world are just like homeschooling, having to decide if they're going to work or stay home when they haven't had to do that for many years. It's really not even the same world, at least for a while. And what I like about it is it's really kicking up our subconscious. It's helping us to really face the fact that, that we are mortal, that the spirit world is kind of closer right now, which is really wonderful because it's teaching us a lot of lessons, and it's making us think about why we're really here. What our true purpose is. What is the ultimate purpose of even being here? So readings have kicked up. We all need to know more right now. We're rethinking what our children need and what we teach them and what's important. And more people want to be in tune with their own intuition right now. So the best, quickest way to do that is just to ask questions. Ask questions to spirit. Ask spirit questions. If you have questions and you're just not sure about something, you're having anxiety, you ask spirit. You can ask spirit and just look for the answers. Spirit will always answer you. When like all of our awareness is coming up, our mortality is more prevalent. What happens is we naturally tune into spirit more. So when we ask questions and we basically are in a place where our questions can be answered, it's basically because the reason why our answers can be our questions can be answered a lot more, and our answers can come a lot more easily right now when our consciousness is heightened, is because our minds are kind of like in our higher self rather than our bodies. Our bodies aren't as good at the intuition as our higher self, which is our spirit. So our spirits are a little higher up into that higher consciousness. They're basically just having to pick up on more stuff. It's a survival mechanism. So, some people, their anxiety goes up if they're not quite sure about how to listen to their intuition and their higher consciousness. Other people, their anxiety goes down because they are now more in tune with their higher consciousness and their intuition, and it's working for them. So the way to kind of get into really lowering your anxiety, this kind of feeling of impending doom. I don't know about you, but I'm in California here in the United States, and basically California is on fire right now. There are a lot of people who are not just losing their homes or really having a hard time in general with the fires, but also there's a lot of black smoke all over the state, and it's actually blowing into the neighboring states, and their sky is all black and the air quality is going down, and you can hardly see the sun. It's so bad in some places. In some places, I had a family member tell me that yesterday, where they are at 8 o'clock in the morning, it looked like it was midnight. So there's been some really interesting things going on in the world right now, and it just really, really forces us to kind of stop and think about what's going on, and really spin up our intuition and trying to like figure things out on our own. And readers can also help you with that. That's the other thing that I want to point to, that even a reader that doesn't have everything figured out can pick up what you need help with, or some questions that you need answers to, like some things that you need help with. So basically, I'm here for you. I can help you with a lot of the things that you have questions about right now. And I can pick in my intuition and really help you to know what it is that's going on, what to prepare for, what steps to take, which path to take. I can kind of give you some insight into where things are going and what will happen in the long run. So I have a website if you're interested, and it's AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com. So that's two N's, ANNA, and Olsen is OLSEN. Intuitive is INTUITIVE.com. You can reach me there. You can find my number and all my contact info. I can always do that. I also do life coaching for students regularly, not just to teach them their intuition and what types of intuition that they have and that they can work on, but I also train them on how to strengthen that and how to identify when it's intuition and when it's their own thoughts, or when it's something that they can trust or something that they need to look into a little more. They get better and better at it. So intuition is like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it becomes. So I do that as well, and I can do that over the phone or on video right now. So basically, you just work on what it is that you need help with, want to work on, or what your strengths are. I also do life coaching, and this is really fun because what I do life coaching in is shadow work, which helps us all to, in general, look at the part of us that we've been really stuffing or not paying attention to. And it helps to really unify the shadow self with the higher self. And I can teach people how to do that. What that does is it helps them to overcome things like depression. I don't give psychological advice or diagnoses, but I can definitely point them in the right direction in a spiritual sense, where we can do a lot of work with the shadow self and help with a whole lot of things across the board, not just health or pain issues, but also, like depression or anxiety. So that's that. And I also work with manifestation work. So a lot of the things that I teach people is how to use their own thoughts and their own electromagnetic field to attract the things that they want. So we can program our electromagnetic field, which is also known as our aura. You can actually program your aura and your electromagnetic field to attract the things you want. And this is science, it's quantum physics. This is something you can do. I know because I've done it and I've learned from other people who have done it. So I also teach that. So reach me on my website, AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com, if you'd like to know. Now, I have a caller on the line this time. Let's see if she's there. Danielle, are you there?
Hi, yes, I am.
Hi, Danielle. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. So what would you like to focus on, or what can I answer for you tonight?
I've just recently had someone very close to me pass away, and I'm just kind of in a rut about it and don't really have any peace or closure. So I've just been something that's been on my mind a lot lately.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your loss. So it was somebody close to you, and was this somebody that you knew from your childhood?
Yes, my whole life.
Okay, so was this somebody that you went to school with?
No.
Okay. I'm feeling like it's more of like a childhood bond. So was it family member? Was it?
Yes, it was my uncle who passed away, who I was close with as a child, but recently became even closer with right before he got sick.
Okay, so this is your uncle. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm kind of wondering, first of all, Spirit's telling me that this was good timing for you to get closer to your uncle before he passed, because you know, whenever we're struggling with loss of somebody, one of the biggest regrets is if somebody didn't tie up loose ends or really get closer to that person before they passed.
Mm-hmm.
So Spirit is really telling me that you did some really great work spiritually and emotionally, and that you're going to be able to process this entire situation much better because you were able to get close to your uncle before he passed. And
Okay.
really, I'm hearing Spirit say that, good job. You really did a lot of amazing work there. And that's going to really set a precedence for the rest of the relationships that you have with other people, to put the value of really just bonding with people and making sure that we treat people well, that we do everything we can for them. And it's interesting because I'm also getting that Spirit telling me that your uncle did a lot for you.
Correct.
In a way of, it's almost like I'm feeling like he's coming to save the day, coming to your aid, that he cares,
Yes.
a lot about you. And I'm seeing too that now, can I ask you a quick question about your relationship dynamic? Did he basically like try to help you with your career or your income in some way?
Actually, so 10 years ago, he was diagnosed with kidney disease, and he was the reason I got into the medical field. So
Okay.
the past few years, I've been working at the dialysis clinic that he actually was a patient at. So he was my patient for the past few years. And he was still my patient when he passed away.
Oh, okay. Wow. You know, I'm getting that he was happy to give that to you before he passed. He was happy that you were able to really get into something that would be lucrative for you in the long run and something you could, really utilize as a career.
Great.
It's hard for folks when they're sick, especially because they don't have a lot of energy um, to do as much as they can before they pass, and to really make as much of an imprint in the world as a good footprint in the world before they pass as possible. So this is your spirit and your uncle confirming that you were a big reason that he had more purpose in his life.
Great. That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why spirit showed me that. So um, it's almost though like I'm feeling like, are you having doubts about staying in the career that you're in because that he got you in? Is it kind of painful to go back to work or?
His passing is very, very recent, so I actually just returned to work, and it was actually the day that he should have been there because he would have been there that day when I returned to work. So I've been struggling. Yes, I love
Okay,
my
yeah.
job, but it's hard not to see him there every few days like I'm used to.
Right. And that will take some time for you to get through. It's going to take some getting used to. But I also see what I'm seeing is there's going to be another patient that you're going to have come into your path. And this patient is going to be put in your path at just the right time and just the right way to really help you to feel happier at work again.
Okay.
So you're going to start really feeling a connection to this person. It's going to feel like when you go to work, it's more happy again. So Spirit is just confirming to you and letting you know that this is going to be set up just right so that you're going to enjoy going to work again.
Okay.
And it's interesting too, because now I'm seeing a relationship maybe coming of this. Now, I don't mean to get too personal about your relationship life, but Spirit's just asking me to just ask you about it and talk to you about it, that perhaps, are you married or are you single?
I'm married.
Okay, because I really feel like there's going to be a strengthening of your relationship through this.
Okay.
So I'm seeing that that'll be your marriage. And I'm also seeing that your husband will be able to be a hero to you in a new way that you've never seen him in this light before.
Okay.
So this is just Spirit basically giving you all of these really good things about this passing, and the idea behind it is really to look at the rebirth in our lives and the new things that are coming out of old chapters closing and new chapters beginning. And I'm also I'm asking your uncle if there's anything that he would like to give you as a sign so that you can look for that and you can know that he's communicating with you throughout your, the day in and day out. And the first thing that I was getting is um, either a bird of prey, like maybe an eagle or a falcon or a hawk, something like that, that would represent your uncle.
Okay.
Now, do you know, was he in the military or Boy Scouts or something like that?
Um, he was very outdoorsy. I'm not sure of the things that he did when he was younger.
Okay, because I'm getting that he he would be outside in nature, maybe camping or whatnot, and he just was amazed by the birds of prey. So it would be, like a hawk or an eagle or something like that. And he would watch them closely. And I'm seeing that he would stop and think about how someday when he would pass, he would want somebody to remember him as being, happy and free and, like the take flight sort of thing spiritually. It was very spiritual for him.
Okay.
And I'm feeling like that would be tied into a sign. If you see, like, let's say you're walking and you see a bird of prey cross the path as you're walking, flying past, like either like in front of your car, like, in the path of your car or something like that. And you can see either, they're just basically when you notice, or even if you see it on something like in art, or you walk into a store and you see a sculpture or something like that, that you're going to be sent these messages from your uncle at just the right time. It'll be when you're happy, you're with your family. He's going to be communicating with you and saying, hey, here I am. I'm still thinking of you. I'm still with you.
Okay.
And I thank you. He's thanking you. He's saying, I thank you for being there for me. And also for, I really feel like there was a reclusive part of his life. Was he even reclusive before he became ill?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because there was this reclusive part of his life, and maybe throughout the time he was sick, where it was getting very rather lonely and isolated.
Yes, right before he passed away, he spent a lot of time in the hospital, and we weren't able to visit him or see him, and he wasn't able to talk on the phone, so very much so.
Right. And he just wants you and the family to know that he understands you did everything you could. So he wouldn't feel right if anybody was regretting not visiting enough or that they could have done more. He's saying basically that, I was at the right place at the right time, and I had to have time to also process my spiritual growth before I passed, because there was a little bit of a process there where he had to just kind of think about his life and really commune with the angels and the ascended masters, his spiritual guides.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm sorry for your loss, and I really hope that, as you go about your week this week, if you look around for anything that has to do with a hawk or a bird of prey, it'll come across your path, and you'll be able to know that he was really sending me messages through the reading. And the way that you'll know is that it will come up in a way that seems like almost too good to be true, or too coincidental to be actually a coincidence,
Right.
or and look for sets of three. So when you see, like, let's say a bird of prey, and you go, well, that could have just been a coincidence, I just don't know if that was really him, you're going to want to look for it again 2 more times, so a total of 3 times. And spirit will confirm that for you, because I do feel like you really do need extra confirmation, because you're very logical minded.
Right.
And I don't think you believe things very easily. I don't think you're very naive to this kind of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that, looking for that sets of three will really help for you to start really communicating with your uncle and others that will pass on your own, where you can really identify it and really feel a lot of comfort and a lot of confirmation that they're in the spirit world. Not only are they okay, but they're happy, they're doing well. Your uncle is also pointing to the fact that he's really weighing things out in the afterlife. He has a lot of options still. He's not stuck anywhere. He's doing a lot of work. He is still doing a lot of things in the spirit world that we don't quite understand here.
Okay.
And he just wants you to know he's very busy still. Now he feels totally fine. He's happy. He's active. He not only feels like himself again, but he is very, very happy. The only thing that he would change is any grief anybody's feeling who was left behind.
Okay. He was a very, very busy person until he got sick, so it's good to hear that.
Yeah, he's very busy now too. So he's letting you know he's right back into his work and his whole cycle, his flow. Do you have any
Okay.
questions, or?
Maybe if there's any message, he when he passed, he had a 10-year-old daughter who was very close to my son. I have a 10-year-old son. And she's struggling so hard right now, for obviously. Maybe if there was just a message for her that I could relay in some way. I know she's young and she's just struggling.
Right. Well, the first thing that I'm getting is that she just needs to be able to play and be a kid. She doesn't need to be, pulled aside and told anything specific. We always want to figure out what we can do, but really she just needs to play. She needs to be able to be a kid, and go outside and play, because I feel like she can't be indoors too much, especially right now with the COVID thing. And just let her know that you guys are there for her, that you don't have to say anything specific. It's about being with her and letting her just basically be a kid is what I'm seeing.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I'm out of time now. I wish I had more time with you. You can always contact me by going to my website too if you need any more extension of the reading or you have any other questions. And that's AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good night.
Bye now. So that completes the reading tonight. I feel like I'm just getting into the reading, and we could go so much farther with it, but we have to leave it at that. So I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Thursday here on A1R Radio. I'm Anna Olsen with Insights into Consciousness. You can reach me on my website, AnnaOlsenIntuitive.com, and you can also reach me on Facebook at Anna Olsen Intuitive. And I will see you next week. Have a wonderful night.